Hello everyone, it's Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist. Right now I'm live on my Instagram, but I will save this and repost it to my YouTube page, okay? So if you don't follow me on YouTube, make sure you follow me at the Body Scientist 81. And if you're on YouTube and you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you follow me at the_body_scientist, okay? So for those of you who are unfamiliar with me and my background, I have a background in exercise and sports science, nutrition science. Prior to that, I was into biotechnology, so I've taken a lot of, and I was interested in finding cures to be, I was interested in becoming a scientist and researching cures for genetic diseases, okay? So that was my original interest. And so as I went into nutrition and exercise science, I still maintained that interest in genetic diseases, infectious diseases, and just, being healthy in all the ways that we can, keep our immune system strong and all of that. That's always been something that I've been into. And I have many videos on my YouTube page on this topic. I do suggest that you take a look at them because this video is going to be brief because I've discussed a lot of these things in other videos. I will try to post links to some of them below on my YouTube page, but definitely search the videos on my YouTube page, The Body Scientist 81, okay? So, so today I want to talk about natural cures for so-called STDs, okay? Because I've had a lot of people asking me about this. Over the years, I've had clients who have come to me, and the one prevalent thing that I've had people come to me with over the years has been herpes, okay? And so this video is going to be about curing those infections, but all infections, okay? Because there are similarities and differences because an infection is an infection. If you have a bacterial infection, whether it's in your throat, whether it's on your feet, whether it's, on your scalp or your genitals, it's still a bacterial infection. And there's certain things that's uniform for all of that, okay? Same thing with viruses. A cold is a virus, a flu is a virus, herpes is a virus. So there are still basic things when it comes to maintaining your immune system, building a strong immune system, and creating a body in which diseases cannot thrive. Disease-causing organisms cannot thrive, whether they be viruses or bacteria, okay? So definitely, I talk a lot about probiotics. I've been talking about that for years. Check out my videos on intestinal dysbiosis and probiotics, and I have another one on digestive health and probiotics. You really should watch both of those videos. I also have videos about maintaining vaginal and penile health, in which I give a lot of information in those videos, and I also highly suggest you check that out. And a lot of things I'm going to say in this video was in that video as well, but that video was more from a prevention standpoint. But a lot of things from the prevention standpoint also comes into play when it comes to curing and reversing situations, okay? So make sure you look at all of those previous videos as well. So if somebody finds out, that I've had, clients contact me they were diagnosed with something, they're freaking out. Now, first of all, it's not true that viruses cannot be cured, okay? That's not true. The viruses cannot be killed. That's absolutely not true. There are bacterial strains that kill lipid-contained viruses. Lipid-contained viruses are the coronavirus, the herpes virus, the HPV virus. Those are all lipid-contained viruses. And what that means is that the virus is, there's a lipid bilayer around it, okay, that it's encased in. And so one of the things that kills those kind of viruses is hydrogen peroxide. And hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria, okay? There are hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria called homeostatic soil organisms, and some of them also the lactobacillus bacteria are also some of those, which you get from yogurt, raw milk, and raw dairy, and yogurts and stuff like that. There are tons of studies, plenty of studies, okay, that document this. This is not unknown. A lot of things that people be like, there's a lot of things that cure cancer and cure things, and it's documented. It's just, and the studies are there. It's just that the people that know that can't really say it because they'll lose their funding and their jobs, but it's there, you know. And regular people don't know how to go look that stuff up or understand it, but I'm just telling you, okay, there's plenty of documentation. And there's certain things that you can find even if you Google hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria. Just Google hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria and herpes, or hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria and disease. You'll find a lot of information out there as well that you do have access to. So these hydrogen peroxide bacteria, because hydrogen peroxide is H2O2, oxygen, has oxygen in it. A lot of viruses can't survive in the presence of oxygen, okay? And I don't suggest drinking hydrogen peroxide. I suggest having a lot of hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria in your gut. And this happens from the foods you eat, eating a lot of fermented foods, but also taking probiotics, because we should naturally be getting inoculated with good bacteria when we play in the dirt, when we play in the soil, but because of all the pesticides and herbicides that have been used on the crops and in the soil, those microorganisms are not there. So you do have to take probiotics. And I've been taking probiotics religiously since like 2003. There are months when I might have fallen off for a moment, but I've been very much aware of this. And the best brand, I also have, again, check my YouTube videos because I talk about this, but the best brand of probiotics that I've ever been able to find is by a company called Garden of Life. And I'm not recommending it because I make money, because I don't make money off of the brand at all, but I'm just saying, dead ass. And I have videos, if you've watched the videos that I recommended, you'll see why I say that. So in order to prevent it, you know, like any infectious disease, you want to make sure your microbiome is right. This is why I don't take antibiotics. Only way that I'm going to take antibiotics is if I end up in the hospital and they put an IV in my arm and then I don't have control. Because when they get an IV in you, they can pump anything through you. You don't have control over that. And so in that situation, you can't really do anything. That's the only way I'm taking antibiotics. Anytime a doctor has prescribed antibiotics to me or antibiotic ointments for anything, I've never taken it, ever. Okay? Because every time you take antibiotics, it seriously messes up your microbiome. Anytime you put antibacterial stuff on your skin, seriously messes up the microbiome on your skin. And your skin is a part of your immune system as well. Okay? The good bacteria are our first line of defense against infectious disease. So you want to make sure you have a lot of good bacteria on your skin. You want to have a lot of good bacteria in your gut. But you won't if you're constantly putting like hand sanitizer and, you know, you're taking antibiotics all the time and you're eating a whole bunch of food that's full of pesticides and antibiotics, and you're not eating fermented foods, like you're going to have a serious imbalance, okay? And it just causes problems. So if somebody, you know, didn't do their body, you know, when you get infected with anything, it's because your body, your microbiome, your little universe was welcoming to it. It provided the conditions that virus or bacteria needed to thrive, okay? Because you could have 10 people get exposed to the same thing and 2 people get sick, the other 8 people are fine. It has everything to do with your microbiome. And to really understand more of what I'm talking about with that, check out the other videos that I told you, because I'm not going to get into a 20-minute lecture about that when I talk about it in other videos, okay? So if somebody would, you know, get this diagnosis and they're like, you know, freaking out and they want to get rid of it, because you can get rid of it. You don't have to take medicine for the rest of your life because you have herpes, okay? Or you have it, which is a viral infection, or you have a bacterial infection and they're telling you to take antibiotics. I wouldn't suggest that because it really messes up your microbiome and causes a lot of issues. If you have a bacterial infection of any kind, what you want to do is increase your good bacteria. Because remember, the probiotics, the good bacteria, are your first line defense against all infectious organisms. Good bacteria and bad bacteria cannot live in the same environment, period, point blank. If you have bacteria that love oxygen, and the disease-causing bacteria don't like oxygen, they can't survive in the presence of oxygen, then if you have a lot of oxygen-producing bacteria in your gut, then when the disease-causing bacteria get exposed to that environment, it will suffocate and die because it cannot survive in the presence of oxygen. It kills it, okay? So it's your responsibility to create a microbiome in which disease cannot thrive. So understand that, okay? So somebody gets this diagnosis, okay, first thing, taking a high dose of probiotics. This is whether or not you get diagnosed with HPV, herpes, you know, syphilis, gonorrhea, any bacterial infection, or it could be something that's non-sex related, okay? Which a lot of these, that's why I said so-called STDs, because you can get all of them without having sex as well, right? They're really contact diseases. But even if it's any other infection, okay, also applies to it with the high dose of probiotics being essential. Like you can use herbs, you can all those things, but your microbiome It starts with your microbiome, period. You want to make your body a harsh environment for disease-causing organisms. So now, this protocol I'm going to give is a general protocol because a lot of times it depends like more on the person's background. Like, you know, how much antibiotics have they taken in their life? How much imbalance do they have in their body? And these are things that I can know from evaluating somebody. But just off of a general recommendation, okay, and without knowing anything about somebody, I would say when I say a high dose of probiotics, I mean like you could be taking 800 billion to like let's say 800 billion a day, 600 to 800 billion. So if you have pills, the way that probiotics are, it's by colony forming units. So it might be 1 billion colony forming units or 5 million colony forming units. Okay, so it's in the millions of the billions, right? So the probiotics I get, you know, like there are, Garden of Life has 100 billion pills that are 100 billion in a dose, right? And again, I explain this a lot more in my other videos, so I'm not going to get a lot into the dosing, but I do explain it. So I'm just giving out my general recommendations. So like if you have a pill that has 100 billion colony forming units in that pill and you're taking 800 billion for the day, then you might take 4 at one point and 4 later, or you could take all 8 at once. It doesn't matter, right? But you'd be taking 8 of those pills. Garden of Life also, and it could be more than that too, because you can't OD on probiotics, because what you're trying to do is change your microbiome. Changing your microbiome. So you want to think about like a war. You want the good bacteria to way outnumber the bad bacteria. The faster you do that, the better off you are. So somebody told me, I would say, okay, let's say you're taking 800 billion for like a month straight, right? Now, depending on what somebody is dealing with, you know, I might tell there's certain people and what they're dealing with and how fast they want things to change, okay? Because there are a lot of clients that I deal with that have a lot of different things going on in their body. They got allergies, they got skin issues, they got digestive issues. All of that is linked to an imbalance of gut bacteria. So somebody can already have those 3 things and then they get, you know, some infection. And so I'm looking at that and I can see you have a bunch of things that's showing that you have an imbalance of bacteria. And so somebody like that, I might say you need to be in a high dose of probiotics for like a year, you know, and then still take it after that, but no less than a year, you know, to really reverse things and turn it around. But simply along with eating fermented foods, along with also using herbs and things that naturally kill viruses. So things that in particular, like olive leaf extract, olive leaf extract for sure. You also have grapefruit seed extract. It's not an herb, but grapefruit seed extract is very well known to, it's antimicrobial. It kills viruses, it kills a lot of infectious bacteria. You also have, you know, doing a vaginal steam. And for men can do soaks. Men can do penile soaks, where they're like a sitz bath, where they take warm water and they put these herbs in and they soak in it, right? And the women do vaginal steam. Even though doing vaginal steams, like you don't want to do them, if a woman has an active infection, some bacterial infection that is a moist one, where they have a lot of discharge and stuff like that, you don't, according to protocol, you don't really want to do a vaginal steam at that moment while it's active. But that's kind of up for debate. That's, again, something that kind of is a case-by-case basis, right? So it kind of depends. But the vaginal steam, you're going to put lots of garlic, lots of oil of oregano. I mean, not oil of oregano, oregano, right? Because oregano is one of the main ones that's super potent with killing infections. So oregano, you can put thyme and rosemary. Ginger, because ginger helps to increase circulation. So those are all the things, you know, and there are other herbs too that are known to kill infections. But those are definitely like the basic ones that you can get at any supermarket. Definitely oregano, thyme and rosemary, lots of garlic, right? And ginger, I would say. Maybe rose petals to send love to your body, love and understanding, you know. Also, if somebody has some type of infection where they have like uncomfortable lesions or stuff, I also would suggest using aloe, right out of an aloe leaf. You know, putting aloe on the area, you know. Aloe is a very well-known antimicrobial, kills a lot of viruses and bacteria as well. So I would tell somebody, you know, take a high dose of, like somebody, okay, is trying to get rid of this infection, whether it's viral or, something viral, somebody might have to put more time into. But like if it's a bacterial infection and somebody's like, okay, I want to get retested in a month, or in a couple of months or whatever, I would say like definitely be on this high dose of probiotics for a couple of weeks minimum, okay? Minimum. If you're trying to just clear up this particular infection. You should still keep taking it though, right? Because if you got an infection to begin with, that shows that your microbiome was already off balance. So you want a consistent high dose of probiotics. You want the fermented foods, and you want to get like olive leaf extract, oil of oregano, consume that, okay? Coconut oil is also very well known to kill lipid-contained viruses, even the coronavirus. Like when the whole coronavirus thing first started, I went to New York to make sure that nobody in my family got sick and ended up in the hospital. So I was making my parents shakes with coconut oil in it. Because coconut oil, lauric acid, you can also look this up, lauric acid, okay, which is very high in coconut oil. And there are trace amounts of it in milk too, in mammal milk. But very high in coconut oil is known to kill lipid-contained viruses as well, like coronavirus. So consuming shakes that have, I make stuff with raw milk. You can put coconut cream, coconut oil to get the lauric acid, which is very, very potent in killing infections, okay? So I would say also do that. When you have a holistic approach to something, it's not just one thing. It's not like you take this one pill and it's it. You have to attack it from you have to change your microbiome. So you want to put things in your system that support the good bacteria, support your microbiome and your health, but make a miserable environment, an unlivable, harsh environment for whatever infection is trying to take over your body, okay? You have to get back to the balance. And so I feel like as I talk in this video, I feel like I've said a lot of this in previous videos. Why do I feel compelled to make this video? Because I've had clients I've worked with this, but then like I've had recently a couple of people asking me, and I feel like I would rather make a video so I don't have to keep repeating it, because a lot of people, they freak out and they think their life is over when they find this out, not knowing that there are a lot of ways that you could prevent that to begin with, and there's a lot of ways that you can get rid of it completely, okay? And so I said, let me just make a video where I kind of bring it together. But now as I'm talking, I feel like I'm being redundant. And I I don't want to keep repeating things I've already explained. So definitely check out the videos that I mentioned where I do get into depth with this stuff. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? So I definitely, and for the vaginal steams with the woman, I would say, maybe do it 3 consecutive days and then off for 4 days. 3 consecutive days, off for 4 days. And really, a reasonable time, like if you do that for a couple weeks, you should be good. You're welcome, people. So if you do that for a couple of weeks, you should be good. You don't, of course, as a woman, you don't want a vaginal steam when you're on your period, okay? And you don't want to do it if you're pregnant, okay? So if you're pregnant, no vaginal steaming, and if you're on your period, no vaginal steaming, right? And if there's an active infection, especially a moist one, no vaginal steaming, because it's kind of like the moist in the moist. You don't want to treat a moist condition with moist, okay? So that's a general rule, but I can't say this 100%. I think it's a case-by-case basis. Some people might steam while they have an active infection. But I would say if you're overloading it with the probiotics, another thing as a woman, if you have some type of vaginal imbalance, even if it's, sometimes people don't have an STD, but they have a bacterial vaginosis. There's some type of imbalance of bacteria in the vagina. Then you also want to introduce yogurt, plain yogurt, high quality yogurt or kefir with no sugar, just plain. Hormone free, the best source you can get. Put it in your vagina, okay? So that's good if a woman has an active infection of any sort, whether it's bacterial or viral, because again, that bacteria, that good bacteria, we have a microbiome on our skin, we have a microbiome in our gut, and we have a microbiome in our vaginas, okay, in our vaginal canals that are highly complex. So you want to introduce that good bacteria as well. So, so I've also recommend, a woman could take good quality plain yogurt with no sugar, no hormones, none of that. Like, and cover it under a cucumber, and then put the cucumber inside her vagina. The cucumber is cooling, and it introduce the bacteria, the yogurt, you know. So I would also suggest that. So I would suggest doing all those things, like being heavy on that. And also drinking green tea and echinacea really supports the immune system. So you're heavy on all of that for like a couple of weeks, okay? And then after that, you still continue to take the probiotics and take care of yourself. Make sure you're, you know, but after a couple of weeks, if somebody wanted to get retested, like, you know, a month later, and they did that for 2 or 3 weeks, that's fine. If it's a viral infection, somebody got diagnosed with herpes or HPV, I would say really go hard and be dedicated, you know, for no less than, you know, again, I think it depends on the person and everything that's going on with their body, like I said. But I would say, you know, no less than 3 to 6 months, you know, before feeling like the virus might be gone, okay? It could be less for some people, could be a little bit longer. And like I said, it just depends on the full picture. So I hope I did a good job at conveying these things. Check out the other videos that I've done on the topic, and you can pull it all together. I'm always available to work with clients one-on-one, either in-depth evaluations or just answering questions. You can find information about that on my IG page. You can email me, thebodyscientist81@gmail.com. I hope this video was helpful to people. If it was, please like the video, please share the video, and take care of yourselves, okay? Bye, people. Be well.